Okay, I wanted to read a book to you. Not in one video, but maybe in a couple of videos or more. We'll see. And it's a book called The Amazing Secret of the Souls in Purgatory, an interview with Maria Simma. And it's by a nun. She did the interviewing, Sister Emmanuel of Medjugorje. And this was published in the 90s. In fact, this was the first book I ever read, really, about the Holy Souls. And then I got interested in it and made it really a big devotion of mine. And you all know Maria Simma because I've read parts of her book, Get Us Out of Here, which is not her book. It's another interview with her by a different person. Now what I'm going to read to you, this is a very short book. It's like 40 pages. But it's an interview with Maria, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. So I just want to share it with you. All right? So let's cut to the chase. So this is Maria being interviewed by this nun. All right? Let's see what she says. And there's little sections that have kind of little titles. So this is called the first time. Maria, can you tell us how you were visited for the first time by a soul in purgatory? Yes, it was in 1940. One night around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard someone coming into my bedroom. This woke me up. I looked to see who on earth could have walked into my bedroom. Were you afraid? No, I am not at all fearful. Even when I was a little child, my mother said I was a special child because I was never afraid. So that night, tell us. Well, I saw a complete stranger. He walked back and forth slowly. I said to him severely, "How did you get in here? Go away." But as he continued to walk impatiently around the bedroom, as if he hadn't heard. So I asked him again, "What are you doing?" But as he still didn't answer, I jumped out of bed and tried to grab him. But I grasped only air. There was nothing there. So I went back to bed. But again I heard him pacing back and forth. I wondered how I could see this man, but I couldn't grab him. I rose again to hold on to him and stop him walking around. Again, I grasped only emptiness. Puzzled, I went back to bed. He didn't come back, but I couldn't get back to sleep. The next day after Mass, I went to see my spiritual director and told him everything. He told me that if this should happen again, I shouldn't ask, "Who are you?" but "What do you want from me?" The following night, the man returned. Definitely the same man. I asked him, "What do you want from me?" And he replied, "Have 3 Masses celebrated for me, and I will be delivered." So I understood that it was a soul in purgatory. My spiritual father confirmed this. He also advised me never to turn away the poor souls, but to accept with generosity whatever they asked of me. And afterwards the visits continued. Yes, for several years there were only 3 or 4 souls, above all in November. Afterwards there were more. A love wound. What do these souls ask of you? In most cases, they ask to have Masses celebrated, and that one be present at these Masses. They ask to have the Rosary said, and also that one make the Stations of the Cross. Now, by the way, I have the Stations of the Cross on this channel. Just go look for the videos. At this point, the major question is raised. What exactly is purgatory? I'd say that it is a marvelous invention of God. Let me give you an image, which is my own. Suppose that one day a door opens and a splendid being appears, extremely beautiful, of a beauty that has never been seen on earth. You are fascinated, overwhelmed by this being of light and beauty. Excuse me. Even more so that this being shows that he is madly in love with you. You have never dreamed of being loved so much. You sense, too, that he has a great desire to draw you to him, to be one with you. and the fire of love which burns in your heart impels you to throw yourself into his arms. But wait, you realize at this moment that you haven't washed for months and months, that you smell bad. Your nose is running. Your hair is greasy and matted. There are big dirty stains on your clothes. So you say to yourself, no, I just can't present myself in this state. First I must go and wash. A good shower, then straight away I'll come back. But the love which has been born in your heart is so intense, so burning, so strong, that this delay for the shower is absolutely unbearable. And the pain of the absence, even if it only lasts for a couple of minutes, is an atrocious wound in the heart, proportional to the intensity of the revelation of the love. It is a love wound. Purgatory is exactly this. It is a delay imposed by our impurity. A delay before God's embrace, a wound of love which causes intense suffering, a waiting, if you like, a nostalgia for love. It is precisely this burning, this longing, which cleanses us of whatever is still impure in us. Purgatory is a place of desire, and a mad desire for God. Desire for this God whom we already know. For we have seen him, but with whom we are not yet united. Now I am going to ask Maria to clarify a fundamental point. Maria, do the souls in purgatory have, nevertheless, joy and hope in the midst of their sufferings? Yes. No soul would want to come back from purgatory to the earth. They have knowledge which is infinitely beyond ours. They just could not decide to return to the darkness of the earth. Boy, is that true. Here we see the difference from the suffering that we know on earth. In purgatory, even if the pain of the soul is terrible, there is the certitude of living forever with God. It's an unshakable certitude. The joy is greater than the pain. There is nothing on earth which could make them want to live here again, where one is never sure of anything. There's no certainty on the earth. That's my little interjection here. Maria, can you tell us now if it is God who sends a soul into purgatory, or if the soul itself decides to go there? It is the soul itself which wants to go to purgatory, in order to be pure before going to heaven. The souls in purgatory adhere fully to God's will. They rejoice in the good. They desire our good, and they love very much. They love God. They love us too. They are perfectly united to the Spirit of God, the light of God. Maria, at the moment of death, does one see God in full light or in an obscure manner? In a manner still obscure, but all the same, in such brightness that this is enough to cause great longing. Actually, it is such a dazzling brightness compared with the darkness of the earth. It is still nothing compared with the full light the soul will know when it arrives in heaven. Here we can refer to near-death experiences. The soul is so drawn by this light that it's an agony for it to return to earth in its body after this experience. Charity covers a multitude of sins. Maria, can you tell us what the role of Our Lady is with the souls in purgatory? She comes often to console them and to tell them they have done many good things. She encourages them. Are there any days in particular on which she delivers them? Above all, Christmas Day, All Saints' Day, Good Friday, the Feast of the Assumption, and the Ascension of Jesus. Maria, why does one go to purgatory? What are the sins which most lead to purgatory? Sins against charity, against the love of one's neighbor, hard-heartedness, hostility, slandering, calumny, all these things. Saying wicked things and calumny are among the worst blemishes which require a long purification. Yes. Here, Maria gives us an example which really struck her, which I would like to share with you. She had been asked to find out if a woman and a man were in purgatory. To the great astonishment of those who had asked. The woman was already in heaven, and the man was in purgatory. In fact, this woman had died while undergoing an abortion, whereas the man often went to church and apparently led a worthy, devout life. So Maria searched for more information, thinking she'd been mistaken. But no, it was true. They had died at practically the same moment, but the woman had experienced deep repentance and was very humble, whereas the man criticized everyone. He was always complaining and saying bad things about others. This is why his purgatory lasted so long. And Maria concluded, we mustn't judge on we mustn't judge on appearances. That is true. Other sins against charity are all our rejections of certain people we do not like, our refusals to make peace, our refusals to forgive, and all the bitterness we store inside. Maria also illustrated this point with another example which gave us food for thought. It is the story of a woman she knew very well. The lady died and was in purgatory, in the most terrible purgatory, with the most atrocious sufferings. And when she came to see Maria, she explained why. She had had a female friend. Between them arose a great enmity caused by herself. She had maintained this enmity for years and years, even though her friend had many times asked for peace, for reconciliation. But each time she refused. When she fell gravely ill, she continued to close her heart, to refuse the reconciliation offered by her friend, right up to her deathbed. I believe that this example has great significance concerning rancor which is maintained. And our words, too, can be destructive. We can never emphasize enough how much a critical or bitter word can truly kill. But also, on the contrary, how much a word can heal. Maria, please tell us, who are those who have the greatest chance of going straight to heaven? Those who have a good heart towards everyone. Love covers a multitude of sins. Yes, St. Paul himself tells us this. What are the means which we can take on earth to avoid purgatory and to go straight to heaven? We must do a great deal for the souls in purgatory, for they help us in their turn. We must have much humility. That is the greatest weapon against evil, against the evil one. Humility drives evil away. Let me just say something. This is why Jesus said we have to be like a child, right? It's the children, right, who enter the kingdom of heaven. And what does a child have? Well, a normal child. Humility. Humility before their parents. And God's our parent, so we must have humility, not ego. And of course, she says here to help the souls in purgatory. Absolutely. Because we all screw up. I'm guilty of that, boy. And I need them to help me. So I help them as much as I can. I say prayers for them every single day. I urge you to do the same. Okay, let me get back to the interview. I can't resist telling you a very lovely testimony of Father Berlot, who wrote a wonderful book on the souls in purgatory, concerning the help offered by these souls to those who relieve them by their prayers and suffrages. He tells the story of a person particularly devoted to the poor souls who had consecrated her life to their relief. At the hour of her death, she was attacked with fury by the demon, who saw her at the point of escaping from him. It seemed that the entire abyss was united against her, surrounding her with its infernal troops. The dying woman struggled excruciatingly for some time when suddenly she saw entering her apartment a crowd of unknown people, of dazzling beauty, who put the demon to flight, and approaching her bed, spoke to her with the most heavenly encouragement and consolations. With her last breath, in great joy, she cried, "Who are you? Who are you, please, you who do so much good to me?" The benevolent visitors replied, "We are inhabitants of heaven, whom your help has led to beatitude, and we, in our turn, come in gratitude